How's it going, YouTube? Today I'm going to be replacing the front mic on a 13 Pro. This process is virtually identical on a Mini or a 13 or a 13 Pro Max. So yeah, just follow along. I'm going to be showing you how to remove the screen. Ever since the 12s, the screens on these are quite a bit more difficult to remove. And essentially the method that I have is threefold. The first sounds counterintuitive, but I use 99% isopropyl rubbing alcohol, which really takes the bite out of the gasket. The second is I use a magic glass. I used to use an isosamo, but just as you can clearly tell, this disperses the pressure on a significantly water area. So yeah, go and get yourself a magic glass, especially if you want to reuse your screen. This is something where I'm going to be reusing the screen, and I really don't feel like buying the customer a new screen. So yeah, name of the game, don't break the OLED. And then the third part to that is using heat. So yeah, you can get a heat gun or a hair dryer, but and then once we're in the phone, magnetic mat just to keep track of our screws. We're going to need a couple of different bits. I believe we're just going to use, I'll update this if I leave anything out, but Tri-Wing iFixit has a great bit that'll help you avoid stripping screws. Phillips, a nylon spudger and tweezers, and I think that's it. Like I said, if I miss anything, if you think I missed anything, just leave a comment down below. And also, if you get something out of the video, it really helps with the almighty YouTube algorithm. Smash that like button. So, oh yeah, pencil lobe. But pretty much just the way every video starts. Then from here, this is the tricky part. If you want to, you can. These aren't a bad idea, but it's what's called an iSclack. If you can, find one with stronger suction cups. Like I said, this really wasn't an issue, but then the 12s came out, and Apple stepped up the strength of the water-resistant gasket by an order of magnitude. And then same thing with the 13. So they have really strong gaskets, which is why I'm putting so much emphasis on doing these things so you don't break your screen in the process. I mean, if you're replacing your screen at the same time, who cares? It's really important you use 91 or 99, because if you use 70, you could damage the phone, but you could soak practically the entire phone in 99%. It's not going to damage the phone. So I'd say that's sufficiently warm. So I come in. That's what I mean by these help out quite a bit. And as we can see, our OLED is fine. Once we're done with this, we can set it aside. Same thing with our magic glass. That's important just on the bottom of the phone. After that, we can come in with our isosamo. And then once that's done, you might want to use a little bit of heat here. And then you can sort of wiggle it back and forth. Then we get here. Now I am, for anyone who's wondered, I am going to disconnect the battery. Which you always should before connecting or disconnecting anything. Now, like I said, before you go disconnecting anything, you always start with your... Normally I use my fingernail, but I wanted to get that on camera. My finger tends to obscure. As you can see, use the flat end of your spudger. Set the phone aside. And then from here, it's just these three. You want to be very careful. Once again, we're reusing the phone. If you have either bad or dull tools, it is far too easy to accidentally puncture. I've done this on more than one occasion. Ask me how I know. So light as I can. Take our plate, set it aside. Take our heat gun. There's some adhesive along this plate, and then some on the microphone and the proximity sensor. Now by this point, the screen is cooled down, so we're going to come back, warm this up for the Now, if you're unsure, you can always use the new part as a reference. So as we see 1, 2, and 3. Lift up, and then you have this part right here. And that's it. So here's our part. As you can see, there's quite a bit of adhesive here. Not a whole lot there, or there. Now, not every flex will come this way, but you'll see all these little stickers. Now, there's usually one over the sensor, so in this case the microphone, and if you just forget, then you'll put the thing together and then your front microphone literally won't work at all. You have to take the entire thing apart again. Don't do that. Make sure to take apart to take off these little stickers. Same thing with this. Now, only because of how much of adhesive is here, I would suggest by dropping in our sensors first, and then pressing down. So I'll mention this ahead of, but you want to make sure that you are being very light, and make sure that you don't accidentally drop or slip, as even the weight from here to the screen is enough to put a dimple in your screen, which it may not damage it, but it would certainly be annoying if you had to look at a dimple, or you might kill a pixel. So don't do that. You can even go as far as to like put this right under it or right next to it if you really wanted to be safe. Probably should have mentioned that ahead of time, but in the next from here, there really isn't much to it, but you just want to make sure to fold this in approximately the right direction. So this goes inward roughly like that. Now this one's pretty straightforward. Now, I forgot to mention this. Make sure your battery is still disconnected. Now, on the screen flex, you're best to press down on one side or another. It's kind of windy right now. I don't know if you can hear this on the other side. If it is, I apologize. But press down on I need to align this just right. There we go. Left and then right, because if you press down in the center, sometimes you have a tendency to bow the cable, and then you can mess up the touch sensitivity, or you can even damage the flex, which ultimately damages the screen. So now, you don't really need me for the next part's easy. Just put your plates and your screws in. I will mention one thing before, which is on the off chance that you lost one of your screws, they do have a tendency to get stuck along the gasket or the Taptic engine or the loudspeaker, or sometimes even right along here. And let's just say, once again, ask me how I know. On more than one occasion, I have. So this is something I religiously, every single time I close the phone, I'll look to make sure I don't have any screws hanging out here, because you can inadvertently damage your screen before closing it. So learn from my mistakes. But yeah, I'm going to put these plates in, and yeah. Remember, it's try, Phillips.